Hey everyone, it's Jaeyoung here, and today I just want to talk about damage breakpoints in Overwatch. So this was inspired by the recent PTR nerf to Brigitte's shield bash damage. For those unaware, the damage has been reduced from 50 all the way down to 5, which is probably one of the biggest damage nerfs to a hero ever, percentage-wise. Anyway, the reason I bring this up is that with this damage change, Brigitte can no longer kill combo a Tracer down from full health. Now, I'm not arguing on whether this is a good or bad change. I'm here to raise awareness, not condone or condemn. It's just that the combo was definitely one of the more defining aspects of her hero kit. So the combo was fairly easy to pull off assuming you hit the initial bash and served as a pretty active deterrent to pesky enemy tracers, and to be honest, most other heroes. So, back to damage breakpoints. Unfortunately, I don't really have a concrete definition for the term. The best explanation I can come up with after extensive research on one page of Google search is that in Overwatch, damage breakpoints are, well, points in the game where a source of damage and or a combination of them results in meaningful change. And more often than not, meaningful change in the game means killing a target or keeping them alive, with the measurement of that potential commonly referred to as time to kill, or TTK. And with the evolution of healing and armor throughout the history of Overwatch, it's become clear that lower TTKs in the form of burst damage are much more favored. An example being how McCree is much more popular a pick in the higher ranks as opposed to another hero like Soldier 76. So this topic involves a little bit of math, and if you're not really into that, what is wrong with you? Math is really important in life. So hopefully this video will let you think a bit differently about future buffs and nerfs to damage sources and ultimately how big of an impact those changes might have. Anyway, let's move on to an example that fortunately doesn't exist in the game anymore. Remember like half a year ago, when Blizzard decided to unleash a great terror upon the player base in the form of reworked Hanzo? For those of you who don't know or remember, reworked Hanzo's storm arrows initially started out at 80 damage an arrow. With 160 damage headshot, it was enough to one-shot a Tracer. But let's forget about her for a moment and talk about damage modifiers. Other than the tried and true headshot damage modifier that does double damage, or 2.5 times if you're Widowmaker, there are also ability-dependent damage modifiers, such as Mercy's damage boost and Zenyatta's Discord Orb, or the Ultimate's nano boost and supercharger. We're gonna be focusing on Mercy's damage boost and Zenyatta's Discord Orb for now, since those two are always readily available. These factors play a huge role when taking into consideration damage breakpoints. So, back to the topic of Hanzo's 80 damage storm arrows. What made the ability so busted was that while rapid fire ability that did 160 damage a headshot was already dangerous, particularly to tanks, when paired with a simple damage modifier like Mercy's damage boost or Zenyatta's Discord Orb, it brings the damage up to 104 an arrow or 208 damage a headshot. So with a single damage modifier, it changes the ability from one that could 2 or 3 shot a 200 HP target to one that could 1 or 2 shot, and such ends up shortening the TTK. Now, you might be thinking, Hanzo's normal primary fire could already one-shot any 200 HP target, so what's the big deal? The big deal is that with his primary fire, you at least had to take some time to aim and release the arrow, and if you missed, you had to take some time again. With storm arrows, what instead happens is you would activate the ability and spam it in the general direction of your target's head. With 6 shots, you're bound to hit a few eventually, and if you're a tank with a big hit, you're gonna have a bad time. Anyway, storm arrows has since been nerfed from 80 to 70 damage, changing up the potential damage breakpoints of the ability. You can no longer one-shot a Tracer without a form of damage boost, and no longer one-shot a 200 HP target even with damage boost or Discord. So again, the nerf significantly increased the ability's time to kill. Another example we can look at is Ana's biotic rifle damage. A long time ago, when everyone's favorite grandma was released, her rifle did 80 damage a shot, which was obviously really good in that she was a supplemental deterrent to heroes like Pharah, who she could 3-tap to kill, and even Tracer, who she could 2-tap. But a few months later, her damage was nerfed pretty heavily down to 60 damage a shot, which meant that her potential time to kill went up. Needing 4 shots instead of 3 to kill a Pharah allows her more time to duck behind cover and out of line of sight. And with Tracer being a hard enough target to hit already, needing 3 shots instead of 2 is a pretty big deal as well. A couple more months after that, her rifle's damage was buffed up to 70 damage a shot, which restored her ability to 3-tap enemy Pharahs, but still required 3 shots to kill a Tracer. All this of course excludes other parts of her kit, like her biotic grenade and sleep dart. And speaking of healers, the recent nerf to Mercy's healing output, reducing it from 60 HP a second down to 50 HP a second, did also sort of change how she interacted with Winston's damage breakpoint. So Winston's Tesla cannon does a nice and steady 60 damage a second, which used to mean that when you tried diving down a target who was pickpocketed by a Mercy, there would be a stalemate between the damage done and the healing done by Mercy due to the equal outputs. But now Winston has a slight advantage with Mercy's lowered healing when not in her Valkyrie form. Being able to at least output 10 damage a second even without damage modifiers might not seem like much, but it's better than nothing at all. With a few of those examples now out of the way, let's return to our first one, Brigitte. Currently, her burst combo when done correctly deals 155 damage, which is more than enough to eliminate a Tracer. However, with the nerf to her shield bash damage, this not only lowers her burst combo down to 110 damage, it also changes up the order in which she has to perform the combo. An additional 2 swings from a flail is required to make up for the lost damage to kill an enemy Tracer, which already increases her time to kill. However, those 2 swings would have to ideally come before the combo due to the fact that it's usually the whip shot that finishes off the target. And with whip shot knocking enemies back out of Brigitte's range if they're not killed by it, Tracer now has the opportunity to more effectively outplay the combo by kiting or recalling away after surviving the combo or retreating during the 2 initial swings. This of course also changes Brigitte's time to kill other squishy heroes as well, such as Genji, Soldier, and so on. She will still be a very capable duelist when faced with 1v1 battles, but this change offers a little bit more room for opponents to make a decision on how to handle her. Anyway, that's it for this video. I just wanted to get my thoughts out there on damage breakpoints. If nothing else, hopefully you've at least learned something new today to help you possibly change the way you think about damage, modifiers, and healing in the game. I apologize if I've spread any misinformation. This isn't really a topic that's significantly discussed, so I just wanted to raise a bit of awareness. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching, and I started a Patreon recently, so feel free to check that out. Otherwise, take care.